Today on the Ever Onward podcast, we have Carla Osborne, who is a children's book author from here in the Treasure Valley. She has written several books that tie back to her childhood and the heritage of Idaho, and really connects with a lot of the values that we hold near and dear to us through children's books. Really excited to share this podcast with everyone today. Carla Osborne. Carla, thanks for being here today.
Yeah.
This will be fun.
Yes.
We've had you down on the schedule for a while, and so it'll be fun to hear all about this. And it's nice to have someone that's doing what you're doing.
Oh, thank you.
So Carla, award-winning children's book author, and when we got you booked, you were able to drop off a few books.
Yes.
For me to look at, and
Yes.
they're already with my grandkids. And
Oh, good.
they're loving them. So thank you very much for coming on and talking about what you do and your passions. Tell us a little bit about you to get started.
I am an Idaho native. My children are fifth generation. Well, my grandchildren are fifth generation Idahoans.
Where did you grow up?
In Burley. It was, when you say Burley, it's like Treasure Valley. So I was outside of Burley, close to the mountains in Pomerelle.
Pomerelle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, on a farm out there. And
There's a ton of great people from the valley that are from that area.
Yes.
There must have been something in the water there. I mean, you take Oakley, Burley,
Yes.
Pomerelle. I mean, just like,
Yeah.
trying to think, like so many people that.
I spent a lot of time in Oakley, and because we were closer actually to Oakley than to Burley, really, and we went to, down that way a lot.
It's got some great stories too.
Yes.
That whole area.
Yes.
So you grew up on a farm?
Mm-hmm. I grew up on a farm.
What kind of farming?
We grew wheat and sugar beets and alfalfa and corn, and that's what we grew up. And then we had cattle as well. And then my father had horses. He had quarter horses. He had love for quarter horses, and so he would show quarter horses, and that's where my love came too, was for horses and animals and anything like that. And just really down into the, when you're growing up, on a farm, you really gain an appreciation for soil and for work and for seeing things grow and how they progress.
It's one of the things about our heritage that I think gets a little overlooked, just because we are about work. Mm-hmm. But our farmers and our ranchers are our environmentalists.
They are. And if
no one cares more about water, clean water, how the water is used and maximized, how the soil is taken care of and treated, and than our farmers and ranchers.
You're right. I mean, because that's their livelihood.
So it really kind of frustrates me sometimes when you hear the other side of things saying, well, somehow blaming farming and ranching and our heritage for something. I'm like, are you kidding me? Those are the folks that take the best care of our resources than anyone. But
I agree totally.
That's great. So you grew up there. Mm-hmm. Wonderful life. Tell me about horse. Did you get into horses then?
I did, because like my dad and my brothers, they all showed, they were into horses, and we had quarter horses, beautiful quarter horses. And my dad actually would chariot race. He was in the posse. So up in Albion, they were in the posse. We have pictures of him on his horses up there. And then he would go to the rodeos, and they were the posse would ride in formation. And
wow.
Yeah. And so then I grew up riding horses in parades, and then also being in 4-H and showing horses. And so I got to be reserve grand champion of the fair one year. And that was just like, oh, I like this.
That's awesome. Awesome. Horses are wonderful. They're such powerful animals, and fun to be around, and bond, and personalities, and there's a reason why they're used in therapy and everything else, because they're so wonderful.
And they can sense people. So if you're afraid, they sense that immediately, and they can sense trust, and so they can pick up on what we're feeling.
Oh yeah, it only takes them a second. I've got a big quarter horse. That's my horse, Chet. Big Chet's his name, and he's always trailered perfectly. And then I took him up to McCall last weekend, and getting him there and getting him back, he would not get in the trailer, and he is not someone to mess with, and I don't know what's going on with him. So anyway, I got someone coming out to help me with him, but that's what Shannon, my wife, she's like, they're just massive. When they don't want to do something,
they're not going to do it.
There's no getting them to do it. There's no getting them to do
So
it.
when you say quarter horse, how many hands?
He's 16 and a half.
Oh, that's big for a quarter horse.
Yeah, he's big.
Yeah.
He's he's a lot bigger than our other two, and I like him. He's a big, sturdy guy for me, and has been a wonderful, wonderful horse. It's hard to find a good horse in today's world.
Yes.
There's not as many people that are raising and training, and it's just harder to find a good horse. So
yeah.
Well, that's great. So you grew up in did you know the Crannies?
Oh yeah, I know the Crannies. Yeah, the Crannies were closer to Oakley.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, I know them real well.
Todd is a dear, dear friend.
Oh, that's so amazing.
And then, Bill, his dad, Bill's Hill. But I think someone in his family was very into horses, and I can't remember all the stories. There's you get Todd, get anyone from that area, either Scott Bedke or the Crannies or Critchfields, and you get them all going on stories, and they never stop.
They never
and they
stop.
all blend together for me.
That's right. We had my family. They ran sheep up in those hills.
Okay.
So we have lots of stories about that, up in Oakley and running sheep and all of those things up in those foothills up there. So yeah, in the Oakley Basin. I mean, you can't beat the Oakley Basin.
Yeah. And then they had the year that they had to put the canal in, the story.
Oh, my uncle. Yeah.
It's an incredible book.
Yeah, my uncle was the one that had to organize all of that and work with the politics with
Tell
people
the story. We've never
and,
told the story on this podcast. So you had a year.
A year.
When give us the background.
Well, the spring runoff was really, there was a lot of water coming into the reservoir, and that is a man-made dirt dam that is up above Oakley.
So man-made dirt dam, huge snowmageddon-ish kind of year.
Yes.
Dam's gonna break unless they relieve the pressure.
Yes.
And they literally, as a community, organize everyone together and say, we're not going to let this happen.
Right.
And they basically put in a canal over a period of time of it's been 5 years since I read the book.
Yeah, well, and they had to run it all the way from Oakley to the Snake River in Burley. And so they had to cut through farmers' fields. And so farmers just had to give up, for the good of the community.
Yeah.
They had to let them come through. And then what we would do, my husband, they would patrol every night to watch when they released that water so it didn't break the canal that they went on. So they would all have different shifts, and they would go out at night and during the day. And I know that he went out at nighttime, and they would walk along that canal, all along those many miles, because, it was a fascinating story.
Look up that name of that book, because look up the Oakley Mirror. It's like the something miracle, or just for our listeners, it's worth a read. And because what it tells a story of is how a community can come together with unsurmountable odds. There's no way that this isn't going to, and if the dam would have burst, it would have been this huge thing, and they do it. I don't know if we can find it, but
Rex Jarrett was the one that was
do
helping
Oakley,
coordinate
Idaho.
it. Yeah, Oakley, Idaho.
Oakley, Idaho Miracle Canal or something like that. Anyway, it's a great book. You'll find it. When you find it, let us know, Maddie. Oh, a flood cannot happen here.
Oh yeah, there's the canal right there.
There's the book.
Yes.
What's the name of the book, Maddie? Or is that the name of the book? Anyway, it's a wonderful, wonderful book about community and coming together. And the story is they put this thing in and avert disaster,
and they avoid disaster.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So great heritage. We started there. And then tell us how you became an author and so passionate about what you're doing.
Well, I loved writing. I've always loved writing my whole life, and I love stories. And I was raised reading books, and I was raised my parents reading to me, and then also encouraged to write. And I loved my childhood. I loved my childhood. And as the older I get, the more I realize what a unique opportunity I had, and that there are so many people that will never be able to experience what I experience now because family farms are going away.
Yeah.
You know, and it was a community effort as far as our family. But everywhere around us, I was surrounded by people that knew me and took care of me. And we could ride our bikes or our horses 5 miles around, and people would say, hey, they'd watch out for you. Hey,
Yeah.
they knew that was Cal and Rayla's girl, so you better watch out. So you had that sense of really people who loved you and looked after you. And my last boy left, and I thought, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to start all these things that I've written. I'm going to start putting them to use. So the first book I wrote was Under the Barnyard Light. And I just wrote it in, probably about, maybe 2 hours. Because it just came.
It was there.
It was there. It just came, and it was like a rhythm,
And the intended audience was?
The intended audience was anyone that felt that light in their life, because the barnyard light represented my family. It represented the security, because when we were growing up.
Can we talk about this for a minute?
Yes, you sure can.
I'm going to interrupt you a few times.
Sure, I love that. Go ahead.
Because I Under the Barnyard Light, right? Mm-hmm. So to just think of darkness.
Yes, that's exactly right.
So last weekend we had a church camp up at our ranch, and it ended up being rainy and kind of cold, actually, but pitch dark. And part of the power of getting these kids, so what happens is they go to camp, they take their cell phones and put them in a Ziploc bag and they put them away, and then they experience
darkness.
Idaho.
Yeah, Idaho.
I mean, Idaho mountains in the dark. I'm a big proponent of the fact that our kids, and I don't want to sound like the old guy, like, the Gran Torino get off my lawn guy, but I think our kids don't experience darkness.
No.
How do you understand the grandeur of God if you don't ever look up and say, oh wow, there's stars in the Milky Way, and I'm small, and you smell it and feel it, and it's just part of you. And so Under the Barnyard Light, think of the context of that back when you were growing up.
Yeah, there was only one light.
It was dark, and that light, so then there's the metaphor of the light, which is that's home, that's my beacon, that's where I can always go.
Right.
Think of the beauty of that simple metaphor.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was writing, because that light meant everything. It meant everything because there was no light pollution.
But how do you know the light if you don't know the darkness?
Right. That's exactly right.
And do you think our kids know the darkness in today's world? I don't know.
I don't know. I think that there's so much darkness in the world. They're surrounded by it all the time. They
Different
don't
kind of darkness.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah, it meant everything to me. And the stars at night.
Yeah.
I write about the stars in a couple of my books about how they just reflect. I might not be here right now with you, but if you look in the sky, we can both see the same stars. The North Star is up there, and we can always look up there and see it. And that's about my brother when he leaves. And, I could get a letter in 3 months, maybe, or 4 months, but I had no idea at 10 years old that he was in Germany. Yeah. I didn't know where Germany was. I was on my little world right here. Yeah. And so that's how he would tell me. He said, just look up there and I'll be home again. And
I just got chills when you said that, because when my son went on to Finland on his mission, I don't think I've ever told this story to anyone before. I don't think I ever have. But I missed him like crazy. Mm-hmm. Like, I just missed him a lot. He was my oldest and my best friend, and I was just really close to him. So I was happy that he was there. I liked what he was doing, but I just missed him tremendously. And I would have this spiritual moment on Sunday nights. It was like my best moment of the week, and it was taking out my garbage, because I would roll it out to the thing, and it was often late and pitch dark. And I remember just looking up at the stars and thinking to myself, man, that's the same sky he's under. Mm-hmm. And I felt some connection to him through those stars, and thinking, hey, it gave me comfort that, like, hey, he's seeing a similar thing to what I'm seeing. Not the same
Exactly.
sky, but similar in a different perspective. But it connected me to him, and I remember getting so much comfort from that in some weird way. And I just would most of the time I'm a big baby. I'd tear up, and I think,
Yeah.
oh, this is really comforting to me that he's okay. And
Exactly.
God's looking after him, and we're connected. And even though he's far away, it's only a time that's going to go
Just a
like
short
that. Yeah.
time.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever said that, but I think about that often because it's those things that give us comfort during some times where we need them. But this idea of light and the barnyard, I love that. So I'm sorry we stopped.
No.
We got like
I love-
book one, and we're like we're stuck on dark and light.
No, because that's what kind of started everything. Then it opened up the light in my life to be able to create more. Because
Did you know you loved it after the first book?
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Yes, I did.
We're going to go through. So your books are all available.
Yes, on Amazon. It's under Gona's Reading Ranch.
Okay.
Yeah, and do you want to hear the story about Gona? Because that's such a silly
So
name.
Gona's Reading Ranch. So there it is under. So you just go to Amazon under the barnyard light.
Right.
Under-
And that's actually my real horse. Everything in our books are based on the farm I grew up in. So anybody that's ever been on my farm, not my farm, but the farm I grew up in, will look and say, oh, yeah, I remember exactly that
that's
silo.
cool.
I remember that truck.
Who do you have illustrate for you?
This is Brandon Dorman. He is he's illustrated a lot of books, like for Goosebumps, Fablehaven. He's well known. And so I contacted him because I saw some of the background that he did in his other books, and this is the guy that can create the sky that I need, because you had to go from twilight to dark and still get all those characters in there, and you had to have that light illuminating. And so I contacted him, and he was so sweet, and he said, well, contact Peter Elliott in New York. And so I did, and he said, well, he's really busy, but if you can wait about a year. I said, oh, I'll wait. I'll wait. And so I had Michael Crane, who is my nephew. We spent a year sketching out every part of the farm. Every detail is exact. And then we would send those sketches to Brandon. And then I said, okay, Brandon, you can put your mark on this, but this has to represent my childhood. And so Michael did a fabulous job with me of sketching everything in here. And then we let Brandon go back in, and he put the color, the light. He worked with the sky. He softened me and everything. And if you notice, I don't ever have my picture. Really, you can't see my face in that a lot. It's because I want to focus on my dad and the light and the animals and the characters. And the different characters in the book, we take those through each book.
This is awesome. And
thanks.
how many grandkids do you have?
I have 6, and we're so
6?
proud we have 6.
6 grandkids. Can you imagine? I mean, most of us just get to tell boring stories to our grandkids, and you get to
Here, look.
look, this was my horse. What was your horse's name?
Dandy.
Dandy the horse.
Dandy Hawkwicks, and he's who I won reserve grand champion with.
Oh, well, this is cool. You're setting the bar pretty high for grandparents here, Carla. Hey, you were going to tell me the story behind the name, and then I interrupted you.
Oh, that's right. No. So I grew up with 7 cousins, and they were all boys. And I was a tomboy, and I loved playing with all the boys. And we were always working together on the farm. And they couldn't say Carla for some reason. And so they came up with Gona, which is harder to say than Carla. So my whole life I've been called Gona. My husband still calls me Gona. My siblings call me Gona. Everybody calls me Gona. So of course, I put in there because it's about Gona growing up.
Yes.
Yeah, she's the character in the books. And so that's why it's Gona.
That's cool. That's cool. I was noticing in the front of the first book you wrote, the dedication, which has got to be fun too, right? For you to pay
the dedications are so fun for
pay
me.
Pay some tribute to the past, to my mother and father, Calvin and Rayola Crane, who helped create a magical and lasting childhood. That's cool. So how many books have you done?
Well, I've done 7. I'm on my I have 3 more that I've written, but it takes about, a year to get them out there. So the last one we're working on is a surprise for my grandchildren.
Oh, wow.
That, it's about their little dog that passed away. So I'm
Oh.
writing a book about that, and it's almost done. I'm excited to get that out there.
So from start to finish, you write it. Talk through the process.
Well, I have a funny process. So I am usually up late, and I sometimes wake up with an idea. And so I have pads everywhere around my house. And when I get an idea, I just start writing. And then I'll write those things down, I'll put them away. And then maybe that will trigger a story somewhere else. But that's usually how it starts. And then I go from there. But like with Georgia, the dog that I just wrote, it's called Georgia O'Keeffe, the no-nonsense dog. And it just came. And I like to write in rhythm and in rhyme. And lots of times they'll say to me, my editors who correct it, they come in and they say things, you need to not write rhyme this time. But it's hard for me. So Barnyard is all in rhyme, and the other books will be in rhyme, but most of them aren't.
And then the illustration is so the writing is a big part of it, and then you go to work on
the illustration. And I'm in every detail of every book, because they don't know about my farm, and I know exactly what I want. So if I was just to send it off to a publisher, they could do whatever they wanted with my text, but I won't allow that. And so I am over everything.
It's great.
And I just have really, really good people that work with me, and they put up with me, and, they're there to support me. But Brandon's amazing, and Michael Crane was amazing, and all the people who helped me do this and put it together. Aloha Publishing. When I took my little text to Aloha Publishing years ago, I was so scared. I was so scared. And they were so kind to me, and they were so good. And they said, no, this is a good story.
Had you known anyone that had done this?
No.
So you're clipping along.
I'm just
and you love writing.
Yes.
And you've got these ideas.
Right.
But how I think it's always fascinating to hear from people that do stuff like this. So you're like, I'm going to do this.
Yeah. It's like this need inside of you. Like, I got to get this out, because if I don't get it out, it's just going to burn me up.
Yeah.
And so it took a lot for me to go in there and present myself, like, here, look at me.
Yeah.
That took a lot. Can you like, and they blessed their hearts. They looked at the script and they said, this is actually really good. I was like, really?
This is actually
this
really
is great. Because I think it is, but I don't count.
Yeah.
So, but Aloha Publishing has been so sweet to me the whole way. They've got my back, and they'll tell me, well, and then I have Megan, who is she comes in and she corrects my spelling and things like that. We now are almost the same. We're like partners, and she's amazing. She's amazing too.
That's great. That's great. Talk through part of your books, and again, thank you for the copies I've had. I think there's a little bit of I don't know what to call it. I think we've had technology now. I mean, I don't know, has it been 14 or 15, 16 years since the iPhone first came out? And I waited in line. I slept overnight down at the, when it first came out, it was, I'm trying to remember, it was AT&T had the first iPhone. Oh. So it was down on Milwaukee.
Yes.
I waited in this big, long line. I got my first iPhone. And you think of what's happened since then. There was always the concerns of, hey, everyone was used to having a personal computer and laptops were a thing. But the idea that now you would carry around a device that was as powerful as they are now and really become, listen, in fact, if I sat down and looked up my hours, because we're on them. Mm-hmm. We're on them nonstop, right? So technology has had certainly wonderful ways of efficiencies in life. Yesterday I got up early and went to Reno and back and did, you're just doing all this stuff, and the whole time you're connected to everyone, and you're talking and you're FaceTiming, you're getting on Teams calls, you're doing emails, you're texting, you're following the wars around the world. You're doing all this stuff simultaneously.
We're so connected.
We're connected in a weird way, but I think people are a little worried about AI and technology, and I think there's going to be not a resistance. I don't know how to explain this. I think books, like libraries,
have a comeback.
like something tangible, like. Instead of like doing, I know my grandson just had his tonsils out, and so we went over Sunday night, and he got this little, what's it called, Matthew? The Yogo. It's this cool little device. It's awesome. A Go-Yo. It's a Go-Yo. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
So there's a date, and it's really educational, and it's interactive with kids. It's called a Go-Yo player.
Oh, okay.
I had never seen one till Shannon gave me one Sunday night, but the technology behind this thing is ridiculous. There's a daily activity. There's cards. It's unbelievably cool.
Oh, yes. No, I have seen those.
It's unbelievably cool. And
Yeah.
I just sat there, and he was telling me all about it. He's only 5, and he's telling me all about it and walking me through it. I watched him set it up through an app, and he did it himself. I watched the whole thing happen. I watched him connect it to his Wi-Fi. He's 5. And he gets this thing set up. But my point of doing this is, as cool as that is, it's not the same as me putting him in my arms.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
I do.
And just sitting there with him and saying, hey, let's read a book.
Yeah.
Right? I think there's going to be...
Because you know what? He has your full attention. Not
Well,
only you have his,
yeah,
but
and
he has
we're-
yours, and you're connected, and you're both holding something that's tangible.
And we're turning pages,
Yes.
and we're looking at
Yeah.
pictures, and we're it just feels different.
It is. And then, too, you can just put your finger under and say, okay, this is your word. Every time we come to
Yeah.
this word, you have to say this. And so it's basic learning. I mean, it's just going back to the basic learning of saying, okay, this is that's
Don't you
your
think there's
word.
going to be some rebellion that we hold on to some of this stuff at some point? Like we're going to say no, enough.
Enough
We
already.
are going to read books to our kids.
Whether you like it or
We are
not.
going to take our phones and put them down and read books to our kids. I think
That's
there
right.
is.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think it's wonderful. And that's what we try to promote. We have these events at my barn where we just are like, everything is old fashioned. We have a maypole, we have hopscotch, we have everything that parents and children do together. And there's not technology. It's just getting out in nature and trying to reconnect.
Where are you on the spectrum? I've listened to a bunch of podcasts and read some stuff. There are people out there that have studied what's happening to young people's development and minds in the era of phones and technology, and the idea of play.
Yes. No, I don't think there's enough play.
There's there's a couple of really passionate guys that are really famous and they've done a lot of work and research where they'll say, we're messing up our kids in ways because their brains are forming and the way the human brain forms, and that, I think for a male, it's not till you're 24 and a female, it's like 21.
Right.
And you've got these really impressionable times where we're developing dopamine receptors, and all of the receptors are maturing in our brains. And it's when we learn conflict and conflict resolution, and we learn how to control parasympathetic and sympathetic responses in our bodies and brains. And all these things naturally have happened for thousands of years, where people just, here's how we grow and do things, and our DNA is built that way. And now comes along technology where, and just modern society where you look at play. Mm-hmm. Like think about you said you were a tomboy and you had your cousins.
Yeah, I
and everyone
mean,
grew up.
it was just
Think
like,
of-
get outside, go create, go do something else,
Yeah.
go figure it out yourself. Just go play, go figure it out yourself. And
the conflict resolution
Yes.
happened naturally.
It happened
Because how many
naturally.
times did you get in
Oh, all the time.
scuffles or whatever you
All
want to
the
call
time.
them, and you just figured it out, right?
Right. And that's kind of what the books are about. It's like, okay, she's always mischievous. She's not a bad girl, but she's just so interested
Yeah.
in everything,
love
get
that.
out there and dig and do what, go find. But there's going to be problems along the way, and you've got to figure it out. There's not going to be an adult there to figure it out for you. You can't go to your phone and say, hey, how do I figure this out? And No, I think it's so important. I think play is so important just to be able to go outside. And a lot of children don't have that opportunity. So that makes me feel
Yeah.
bad. People that are in apartments or places like that, they don't have the opportunity just to be able to go and discover.
I'm really thankful. I love our community because I think of the city of Boise and Mayor McLean and the county and, City of Meridian, their commitments to parks even and having like for all kids, because everyone grows up differently.
Yes.
And you have this really ideologic farm life, which listen, like you pick a place to plop yourself down and grow up, and the experiences you had. I don't know that there's anything better than
There's
growing up on a small family farm. I mean,
No.
the things you learn, the interaction, the animals, the darkness, the sky, the connection with all things that are not you, right?
Right.
You're forced to learn to work. You're forced to learn to appreciate nature. You're forced to, it's just, like, my dad always says something. He's like, Lee to always use words when necessary. Like when you grow up on a
Correct.
farm, you don't need to say a whole lot because you experience this thing, right? Well, there's a lot of kids that will never know a farm. They'll never know darkness. They'll never know. So what are the ways we create that? And I'm really glad that we're so committed to parks. I'm also really glad we're so committed to libraries.
Libraries as well.
I mean,
Yes.
I look at my grandkids right now, and my daughter takes them to the library a couple times a week. I think it's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, that was the first thing I did when I wrote Under the Barnyard Light. I went back to the library that my mom used to take me to.
Oh, that's cool.
I said, this is the first thing I want to do. And I got to read to the children in the library. And I told them how important the library was to me and how that it just created this magical world. Because I always wanted to know where the planes that are flying overhead up in the sky, where are they going? What are those people doing? And, all of those things. Where is Germany? Where are all these places? Because it's not like it was today. And the library opened up all of that for me. And I went back and I love to donate all my books to libraries and to go read
good for
to
you.
the schools and to talk to them in the schools and give back and donate. But that was one of the first things I did, go back to the Burley Public
So you
Library.
went to the Burley Public Library.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And
I said,
had a reading.
look, this is my book. And one day,
This
who
is
would have
my
thought?
farm down the road.
Yes. If you just go down this road, you'll see it. And the little kids were like, really?
Yeah.
Really? And that's why we try to encourage, you can do what you want to do. Just be brave. Be brave and do it.
That's awesome. What year was that? What was your first book?
Oh, gosh, I don't know. I'm so old. I think it was 2019.
2019.
Yeah. I started writing before that, but
your first, yeah.
there was such a long process of trying to get it out, the very first book.
Yeah.
It took probably 6 years because I did all of this in it, and it was worth it.
But now you got the process down.
I have the process down.
So how many? What's the series here? How many are in it?
Bonus series. There are 1, 2, 3, 4.
No, but like
5.
in your head.
Oh, in my head. Oh, there's many in my head. There's so many in my head, and I can't get them all down. But I've got 4 more in my head that I've got to get down. And
is that how it works? Is you kind of
yes, yeah. And I'm anxious to get it done. And they always say, okay, you can either have perfection or patience, or you can get it done. And I don't have any patience.
Where are you on that spectrum then? Where do you like on the rewrite, get it perfect thing versus?
Oh, yeah, I'm really bad that way. I'm really bad.
So you're impatient and you're a perfectionist.
Yes. And so that's what they said. You can either have a book or you can have perfection. So, give it up.
Where do you stand on? What do you tell parents? I mean, you're probably around a lot of people because you're an author of children's books, and you have this interest in trying to preserve heritage, preserve the legacy of reading and connection and all that. What's your advice you give people on technology?
Ooh, that's tough.
Is that a loaded question?
That is a loaded question. Technology. I just think that it's wonderful. I think that you need to use it correctly, but I think you need to break away from it with your children as often as possible. It was like we were talking about earlier. You need to gather up your children and you need to read to them. You need to look at them one-on-one. You need to get down on their level and you need to just talk and be with them. And
It's easier not to do that, though.
it's so easy not to do that.
My
And
daughter
it's-
drives me nuts sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I just like, go put on a show, take a nap. But she doesn't let him. She doesn't let him.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, because it is a lot easier just to throw something at them, and you know, they really need us.
Yeah.
They really need that connection. And I've seen kids that'll be tugging on their parents because they're on their phone, and they're like, talk to me, and they'll be on their phone, but the kids want them to talk. So, as a grandma, it's easy to say because I don't have children all
Don't
the
you
time.
worry about that?
I do. I worry about it all the time. I worry about my grandchildren. I worry about other people's children.
You know what? I'm guilty of it. Everyone's guilty of it.
Oh, I
though.
know. I know. Because
'Cause
we
what-
all get frustrated and we all get tired.
Well, but what happens is, work never stops now.
No. It never stops. You're always doing
It never
something.
stops. And so, and it takes a tremendous amount of discipline for everybody, whether you're the grandpa or the dad or the mom or whatever, to say, okay, I'm going to try to be present. And the first step of me being present
Is putting that down.
untethering me from this thing that is going to constantly buzz or, vibrate or ding or, what was that? Or I'm waiting for something. It has to be very intentional.
I'm really bad about having my phone, and I know that a lot of people get upset at me because they'll say, I tried to get a hold of you. I couldn't get a hold of you. And I'm just like, I don't take my phone everywhere, and I don't have my phone with me all the time. And usually I respond to people at 12 o'clock at night because I got to get things done.
So you truly just, you just try to keep it.
I try to keep it away. And I know that bothers a lot of people. And a lot of times that, it is necessary to have it close by, but I intentionally try not to do that.
Well, there's two things in today's world. There's an expectation of immediate response.
Yeah, you should be responding to me
respond.
right now. Well, I can't right now.
And then the second part of it is if you don't, you get buried.
Yeah.
I'm not trying, Carla, I'm not trying, this is not a therapy session. I'm not trying to, I'm just trying to make myself feel better about myself in life. But,
No,
but
I
mean,
get it. I
but
get
I mean,
it.
that's like part of it, right? If
is.
I don't get on my laptop every night, it's a horrible habit I have. I sit down with Shannon, I get on, and for the next 2 or 3 hours, that's when I get caught. That's when I'm reading my emails. Caught up for the day. But man, I'm not present. I'm not present.
Right.
We'll be watching some show, and I don't even know half of what's going on. That's what I remember the next day. But I don't know if I didn't do that, what I would. But it's part of it's the pace of our world, don't you think?
Yeah. Yeah,
Just
just have
different.
to balance, like with everything else. You got to have a balance, and a balance is very, very difficult.
What are some of the important lessons you've taught with Gona? Let's go through some of them, because then I'll have
Okay.
more things to react to, and we'll get off the negative of
Okay.
my internet habits.
Okay. Well, what we do is I try to encourage work, and which is interesting because I would say words in my books, and the editor say, "Oh, you can't say that in this world today." Like I put down chores. Okay, you got to get your chores done. They said, "No, that's negative. You can't put
Do you
chores."
just tell them BS and do it anyway?
No,
You don't?
I wasn't that strong at first, but now I'm just
Carla,
like
just tell them BS, call them chores.
chores, because that's what they were.
That's what they are.
Yeah, and so
Why is chores a bad word?
I don't know, because I guess we're putting expectation on our children, but that was the whole point.
You need to not use these people in New York
Oh.
to be your people.
Well, it's funny because in New York, when they said he would text back and says, "I have no idea what a corral is. Explain to me what a corral is." And so I had to explain to him, and he goes, "Oh, I get it, Colin. Now I get it. Yeah, okay, you put the horses in there. All right, I got it." And so I love working with these people, but they don't have a clue. And then the other thing was in Alex the lamb, the Wonder Lamb. We used to raise lambs, and mother lambs sometimes reject their babies, or the mother dies, and they're called bum lambs. And we would take the bum lambs and we
They're
would
the ones you
raise
get
them.
closest to because you have to bottle feed them,
Yeah,
right?
you have to bottle feed them. So my responsibility was I had to get up every night in the middle of the night and feed these babies out of an old glass Pepsi bottle. And
With a little nipple
with a
on it, right?
nipple on it. Yeah. And I loved that. And so that's a lot about, I was responsible for another life.
Yeah.
I had to take care of that life. And then I had to watch the other babies that grew up go away. And then this little lamb was crippled and he couldn't walk. And so it shows the progress of how we worked with him. And
this is Alex the Wonder
yeah,
Lamb.
this is Alex the
So
Wonder
for
Lamb.
everyone listening or watching, so it's Alex the Wonder Lamb.
The Wonder Lamb, because through this whole process of us taking care of him, me basically being his mother, he learned to walk. And it talks about the separation and about how, he's going to be destroyed because he's a bum lamb and he can't walk. So he's useless.
Do you still call him a bum lamb in here?
I do.
What did they call it?
What did they call?
Did they make you change the name?
They were trying. Yeah, they were.
And you resisted.
I resisted.
I love that, Carla.
I did.
I love the fact that you resisted.
Yeah, because they didn't like that. And I did go to one school and I was reading the book and we got a lot of bad emails back about how dare you call the lamb crippled? How dare you call it a bum lamb? And I was like, well, that's what it was. It was a crippled bum lamb, but he can walk now. The good thing is he can walk. And in the other ones, it's basically about learning to get along with my brother and working through problems because he doesn't want to play with me.
Oh, wow.
He's like 5 years older than me. Why would he want to play with me? And so we have that process and he works with me. The other one is about my brother who goes into the army, like I said, into Germany. And I have no idea where Germany is at 8 years old. And then he talks to me about the stars. He comes home and teaches us those things. And then he leaves again. And that book is really tender to me because my father served and my brother served. And then my boy was a captain in the army in Korea. So the last page mimics what my brother Dennis did before he left to get back on the bus to go to Germany. He put his hat on me.
Oh,
and
wow.
then my boy, when he was going back to Korea, put his hat on my grandson. He doesn't have any sons, but he was very, very close to this boy.
Wow.
So it ties it all back in.
So that's home again.
That's home again. Yeah. And that's really, and if you open that book up, or the page up, you can see my dad and my brother and my son. It should be right in there somewhere close. So that is very tender to me.
To my dad, my brother Dennis, and my son Taylor, and to all of the veterans, those serving in the military, and the families who courageously support them. And there's a picture of Corporal Calvin Cottrell Crane, Sergeant Dennis Drake Crane, and First Lieutenant Taylor Shea Osborne.
Yeah,
that's
who's
cool.
my boy. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. And so when I see veterans, I give this book to them.
This is awesome.
Because I'm very patriotic and it almost moves me to tears because, people do a lot for this country and they never get recognized. And the families who support them that because I experienced a little teeny bit of that when my brother left.
Yeah. I didn't serve. Do you think that people that don't serve can fully ever appreciate?
No. I can't appreciate that.
Yeah.
I can't appreciate going, and even though I have this heritage, I can't appreciate what it takes to give up and then to go and then to come back and then just be forgotten. They're not always forgotten, but to be able to serve and to work like that and to lots of times dangerous situations.
I had a good friend on here, Dan Nilsson, who told his story, which is he's a dang hero. He's just a war hero. And I asked him, I said, when people say thank you for your service, it's like, what does that mean? What does that mean to you? And he said, he said what they could do instead of the thing of using words, live a life worth dying for, because that's what I was out there doing. Right.
Exactly.
And I thought, what a powerful way to look at it. But that's, and I think, fortunately and unfortunately, I think with world tensions the way they are now, it does heighten our awareness of putting more families and individuals in harm's way. And I don't know, a deep appreciation, patriotism for where we live. We have family members that served, and they just were always my hero. My Uncle Daryl was like the guy.
Yeah.
He was a pilot that flew in multiple missions and wars, and he would tell us stories. And I look at that guy. He was like Superman to all of us.
Of course.
He was the guy. And so I'm glad we live in a state that honors that, though.
Mm-hmm.
We had Ked Wills on, who was the former colonel for the Idaho State Police, and it's the same with whether it's law enforcement,
Correct.
military, first responders, people that choose to serve their lives for others.
For others, they don't even know.
They don't even know, and the idea of when danger happens, I run towards it. I don't run away from it, and we all kind of take it for granted.
We take it for granted. There's somebody that's got our back.
Yeah. I think why we take it for granted is it's so free in our society. It's just there.
It's there. It's always been there.
Yeah.
And we just assume that it always will be there.
Yeah. A really bad assumption.
Yes.
That there will always be people that will just put their lives on the line for us and serve and yeah. Well, Carl, this has been awesome.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for letting me come.
I want to make sure.
Yes.
So we've got the Go.
It's Gonna Go. That's the
Go
series.
to Go series.
And it's at Gona's Reading Ranch.
And Gona's Reading Ranch. And you can be found on Amazon, anywhere you search for Carla Osborne books, or and then you have a website too, right?
Yes, we have a website too. And we have events at my house and at my barn. And like I said, we just do things. And the next one is the 23rd.
Hey, I would, listen, we have lots of people on here, but I would tell every one of our listeners that has a grandkid,
Yes.
go look these up, hold them in your arms, smell them, hug them, kiss them, and read them a book.
That's right.
Right?
That's right. Go outside even better.
Oh.
Sit underneath the tree
Yeah.
and read to them and smell the air.
I'll get emotional now, but my grandpa was my hero. That guy was like, he was and always will be the guy for anyone that knew him. But anyone that knew him, he sat under a willow tree in his yard in an old lawn chair. I can see it today, old
Yes.
piece of crap lawn chair that was falling apart. And he had an old hat, and he would sit there reading a Louis L'Amour book.
Yes.
And you would sit down by that guy, and man, you
Just
would
feel secure, right?
Well,
The strength.
I always say people talk to you, and when he talked to you, felt it. You didn't hear it, and he was present, but it was just so connecting and so impactful. I sometimes wonder in our world today if we're as impactful because we're so hurried. Do I have a willow tree to sit under? Do I sit on an old lawn chair? Do I take the time to listen, or am I rushed?
Am I rushed? I think we're all rushed.
I think we're
But
rushed.
it's always good to think, okay, I got to slow down.
Got to slow down. And I think this might sound, I don't know. I think we need to manufacture those times in our lives, or they pass.
Oh, definitely.
Because it's not like I think for him. I mean, I really do think for him. I don't think he manufactured those experiences. They were natural. They happened. They happen almost every day for me. Like they just happen normally. Like that normal interaction with him was meaningful and intentional, and it just happened. And in today's world, everything's so busy. I think that we have to say, okay, where am I going to create those connections and then be intentional about it?
And can I just say, a lot of people think we need to create those memories by going on big, huge vacations. No. Usually the ones they remember the most, children, are when we were there at that exact time, like you said, under the willow tree, just sitting with them, sitting in the grass. We don't need to travel great distances to create memories. Just do it in your home, do it in your backyard. Go out and dig in the dirt with your child. I mean, what child doesn't like to dig in the dirt?
I had one more quick story. I came home a few weeks ago. That's been a few months ago now, and I walked in. I couldn't find my wife, and I walked in the garage, and she's there, and she had her little chicks and her brooder. And I said, "Hey, how are you? How was your day?" And she starts bawling. And I'm like, "What's going on?" And she's like, "I'm just so happy." And my grandson Jack was over, and she said, we just got to play with chicks and hang out and talk. And she's like, it was so awesome. And she was just so emotional about it. I'm like, that's right. It's those things. It's digging in the dirt. It's sitting under a willow tree. It's reading a book about really important stuff. Idaho heritage, Idaho values, patriotism, the lights in the barn, great themes.
Yes.
Carla, you're awesome.
Oh, thank you so much. I've loved this.
Carla
This has been
Crane
wonderful.
Osborne. Go look him up and read a book.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.